Hey friends, my name is Andy. I'm a health coach here at Trivita Functional Medicine, and I want to share with you a trend I've seen recently with people when working on nutrition coaching. So what is that trend? I call it like dietary overload. Basically, because people are interested in this stuff, they're doing a lot of research into nutrition. They're looking up what should I eat, what shouldn't I eat, what are problematic foods, what are good foods, and they tend to start falling into this pattern where you're always looking for, the problematic stuff, which is good. You want to know that's out there, but I see an issue when people get too restrictive. And what I'm talking about is, if you look up what is an inflammatory food, you'll see the gluten and dairy and sugar, some of those obvious things are on there. But then you can keep going down this rabbit hole. What else is inflammatory? Well, nightshades can be inflammatory to some people, and that's a whole nother category of food. And if you want to dig even deeper, you'll learn about lectins and oxalates. These are parts of plants, vegetables, and fruits that you would normally consider healthy, but if you really dig into this side of the research, or you read a couple books on this topic, these foods can be demonized. So when you put it all together, and you maybe look at the Venn diagram of what you can eat or where everything overlaps. So say we're trying to eat anti-inflammatory, so that gives us these foods that we can work with. But then you also want to make sure you're eating low lectin as well. So that takes out some of those foods, kind of has its own range, but remember, we can only eat what is in that overlap. Then maybe you're looking at nightshades, which has a lot of overlaps with lectin, so we won't say that one, but we'll say FODMAPs. FODMAPs are a certain type of sugar and carbohydrate that can cause problems with people with GI issues, and maybe you want to avoid that too. And so as you can start to see, this window of what you can actually eat really starts to get limited the more you combine diets. And my personal approach to this is just to limit it to one dietary focus at a time. And that can be a broad spectrum of things, like trying to eat paleo, or trying to eat keto, or trying to just eat anti-inflammatory, and that's all fine, but I encourage people to avoid overlapping too many things and being too restrictive in their diet, because what happens is it leads to burnout, it leads to frustration. I've had people just break down crying because they don't know what to eat. Every food that's out there is in some way bad for them. And if you do enough research and if you look into all of the different aspects of food, that's the case. There's a reason everything can be bad, whether it's in quality, quantity, or it just doesn't agree with you. So that's my little tidbit for today, is just to, it's in the best intention. We want to restrict foods and we want to optimize our diet. But if you're trying to approach it from too many different angles at once, or you're trying to cover too many diets at once, you're going to lead yourself into frustration and breakdown. And the mental stress of that, I think, is actually more detrimental than some of the dietary stresses you may be encountering. So hope you found that helpful. Keep tuning in for more videos.